Hey guys, thanks for logging on to another video. And if you like my content, do hit like, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Um, why should you subscribe? Well, because I have plenty of content lined up, and I'm sort of learning you guys. I'm learning what you guys like. I'm learning sort of the type of questions that you guys want answered. And if you do subscribe, hopefully I'll be able to give you all the content that you might enjoy. Now, one common theme of questions that I get is about buying the right watch, about how to choose a watch. And unfortunately, there's no simple answer to it. But the the tens to hundreds of questions that I've had over the last 3, 4, 5 years of watch collecting, um, I thought I should make a video on how to answer this question. So, whether you're very new to this hobby or whether you're well seasoned, I think these um, tips will be useful to you. My first tip is to do your homework. I did not rush into any of these watches. I spent years looking at them and thinking about them before I purchased them. So don't just go off on a whim and buy a watch. It's very easy to just walk into a shop and drop, 2, 3, 4 thousand and walk away with a watch only to regret it a few days later. Especially if you're in the watch buying and selling and sort of watch collecting uh, sort of hobby. If you're the type of guy that wants to buy one watch to enjoy for the rest of your life, yes, maybe you could just walk into a shop, pick out the watch that you like, and then walk away and never walk into a watch shop ever again. But if you're a watch collector and if you're a watch hobbyist like I am, do your homework. The next step is to shop around and browse. Even though you've spent hours on YouTube or watch forums, watch magazines, watch blogs, you may think that X watch is the perfect watch for you. But if you don't go to shops, try them on, and keep trying them on, you're not going to know if that is the right watch for you. I can give you a few examples. Lange& one. I knew I'd want one. I always wanted one. Trying them on, they never sort of sang to me. Same with Panerai. I had built up a really good sports watch collection, and I thought, right, I'm going to buy a Panerai. I knew the 000 or the quadruple zero was the sort of the base Lumino was. I thought that was the one for me, and I sort of started laughing when I put it on my wrist. I just couldn't wear it. So even though you've done tremendous amount of homework, you need to put in a good few visits to ADs, boutiques, uh, sellers before you commit to buying a watch. That's number two. Number three is build a relationship with your watch dealer. Um, it doesn't mean sort of a personal relationship, learn to get, well, even better if it is a very personal relationship, but get to know them. Uh, they appreciate the fact that you are not just there to browse and sort of, window shop. Show that you're actually interested in buying a watch. And when you're ready, be a customer of the shop that treated you the best. Because these are the guys that can get you the watches that you want. I bought a few Rolexes, including this one from the dealer that I bought the Daytona from. So, I wouldn't have been able to walk into that same dealer and say, "Can I have a white ceramic Daytona, please?" and get it, be the first to get it, if I hadn't already known the guys in the shop and if I hadn't already developed a relationship. And it doesn't have to be one dealer, develop a relationship with. You'll have to develop a relationship with different dealers because all dealers don't carry the same brands that you might like. So you will have to develop relationships with, great dealers. Say if you don't happen to have a AP boutique in your country or FP John boutique in your country, then you may need to develop relationship with ADs abroad. So, but do take your time spend your time with the dealers and get to know them, and make sure that they get to know that you're a genuine client. Um, the next tip is, well, it's going to be a bit of a controversial one. Buy the established brands first. If you're thinking of buying IWC or a Rolex, buy the Rolex. If you're thinking of buying an FP Journe or a Patek, buy the Patek early in your watch life. If you are very well established in your watch collecting journey and you know what you want and you've already got the Pateks and the Rolexes, then go for the more obscure ones. Because I found this out the hard way. I went off in the very beginning and I bought a JLC, and I thought it was brilliant, and I still think Jaegers are brilliant, and I still have a Jaeger. But that specific Jaeger that I bought was not really the one that I wanted. I had tried it on, I had done all my homework, but I realized after a few months that it just didn't sit right on my wrist, and I had a really bad time trying to shift that watch, and I ended up trading it back into the same dealer that I bought it from. But instead of buying that Jaeger, if I had bought maybe another Rolex or a Omega that I had been considering buying, if I had put the money into something more established, I wouldn't have had such a tough time uh, um, getting rid of it. So buy the established brands first, and then go into the sort of more sort of less sought after brands like IWC or Longines or FP Journe or Lange. Buy the Rolex, Patek, Omegas first. And also, when you're buying those specific uh, watches, maybe stick to the more sought after models if that's what you're into. This could get very boring if you all bought the same watches. But still, if you're not sure of what you want, get the sort of well established watches first. And if you really do want that IWC Portuguese or the Pilot, maybe don't buy them new, because IWC Pilot that you might spend 10-12 grand on may only fetch you 7-8 thousand, whereas the Daytona or the GMT Rolex that you pay 8,000 or 12,000 for is gonna retain its value. So, and it's gonna be much easier to trade a Rolex Daytona towards an IWC and maybe get some money your way in a few years compared to trying to get rid of the IWC. So, the next thing is, it dives into the next topic of not getting too attached to the watches. There were some watches that I've spent years of my life searching for, and I finally found it, and I realized that they weren't for me. But I didn't get sort of too emotional about them. I knew that it was not the right watch for me, so I traded them in or I sold them. We are going to have massive watch boxes and a huge amount of um, tied up, cash if we don't trade or sell our watches. But it's important not to just get rid of them on a whim either. Sometimes I kept a watch for about a year even though I knew I wanted to get rid of it, because I just waited and waited for the right deal and the right person to for me to come across the right person or the right dealer to trade it towards. So don't get too attached, and then when you do want to get rid of a watch, don't sort of drop it like a hot potato. Spend your time, find the right deal, and then get rid of it. And the final point, I think I've made about 6 or 7 points now. The final point that I'll say is, take your time to enjoy your watch. Like, I unfortunately did this with quite a lot of my watches, and definitely the Speedmaster. The moment I bought the Speedmaster, the very next day I started looking at the Submariner because I wanted that dive watch. But don't do that. Spend your time enjoying your watches, enjoying sort of, wear your watch. Don't sort of cheat on it the day that you get it by looking up other watches, because you spent years and years looking for a specific watch, saving for a watch, and I think it's a shame to sort of go off looking at other watches even before you enjoy your latest acquisition. So yeah, look, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If you enjoyed this content, hit like. And if you want more topics like this covered, do hit subscribe. I'll do my best to keep bringing out more content like this. Thanks again for watching.